That goes right off of Oofing. And another throw here for Anderson. Ward looking long. Settled by Calabria. Now into the midfield for Emerson. Emerson tries to slip one through.
I like Emerson's idea on the slip ball, but I thought he actually could have driven towards goal a little bit with the possession.
And a foul called on the Trojans. Edmundo Robinson draws it for Queens. Robinson scored a goal in the 69th minute of the quarterfinal. The junior from Stone Mountain, Georgia. A strong year at the forward position for the Royals. 12 goals, 2 assists, a first-teamer in the South Atlantic Conference. And he'll be the danger man for Queens here this afternoon against the Trojans. Queens will elect to play it back to their keeper, Lemus. Lemus, a junior from Santiago, Chile. Went 5-1-2 in net this year. Recorded 3 shutouts. And saved 80% of the shots taken on him. And it's a good goalkeeper matchup here this afternoon, with Elyashev saving 76% of his shots on the other side. It went 9-4-1. Also 3 shutouts on the year for the freshman.
Early stages, obviously just trying to settle the game in a little bit, feel each other out, see where there's gaps and openings. Teams actually fairly spread apart. I know sometimes teams, when feeling out process, they'll be very narrow, and actually I like the spacing from both teams right now.
Anderson off the head. Now Calabria will play it back for Harry Ward. And right back outside to Calabria, the senior Australian. Now it's Grayson Fry. Calabria nearly snuck that ball through, but Michael Hornsby, the first team All-SAC selection defender. And through the legs of Calabria, and nutmeg back the other way. Now Queens looking to start the attack, and a foul called on Harry Ward, a push from behind on Juan Carlos Carrillo. Free kick for the Royals. Liam Doyle, a 5'9" junior from Newcastle, England, currently set to take it. Making his 11th start of the year. 1 goal, 2 assists on the season for Doyle. Looking in, flicked back, and a piece of it by Elyashev to punch it over the bar.
Well worked free kick, but also a nice save.
And Pedro Oliveira able to redirect that ball while facing away from the net and putting it right on target. Well done, but Elyashev able to read it. It'll set up a Queens corner. Hornsby out wide, whips one in near post, and cleared away off the header by Anderson. With numbers trying to send it back up. Oliveira got another piece of it. Now Queens 5 men in the box, shot blocked. And Emerson will look to start it back the other way. And he can't find Calabria. Akyar, the man there on the defensive end. Throw in goes to the Royals on the far side. Nudged forward by Emerson. And now out to the wing. Edmundo Robinson trying to turn on the Jets. Gets a touch with the head. Robinson chops one down, and it'll skid through the 6-yard box and roll wide.
throw in deep in their defensive half, so an opportunity here for Queens to really step forward and put some pressure on, try to pin this in a little bit.
Harry Ward will have the throw for Anderson. And he'll look back towards Cam Emerson. And it's clipped forward by Colin Burris, who's able to draw a foul for the Trojans. Burris will stretch himself out, and he looks to be okay. We'll take another look here as he went up for the scissor kick, just kind of landing on that, on the lower back area, as Ward sends it forward. And a foul on the Royals. Emerson ducking down, and it was Okyar that went up and used his back as a springboard. And I'll set up a free kick here just outside the box for the Trojans.
A lot of different things you can do with a restart or a free kick from this particular position on the field. Defensively, you have to decide, all right, we're going to put 4 guys in the wall, 5 guys in the wall, or you know, it obviously depends on what the other team does as well, but certainly 4 would be minimum at this point.
And it is 4 as the shot fired, and Sergio Lemus makes a diving save. Still kept alive by Anderson. Emerson pops it back in, and Lemus will track it down and make a nice catch in front of the goal line.
Very nice free kick, and also Lemus doing very well to get across the line and make that save.
Now Queens looking for a quick counter. Through ball doesn't get through, and the Anderson defense stands tall there as Queens was looking to capitalize after Lemus got it out very quickly. Noticed his team had numbers and tried to get him off and running. Hornsby, the freshman, will send it out wide. Now it's Carrillo slowing down. Back to Hornsby. And a near giveaway. Now he does give it away. Emerson couldn't control possession. Well read by Oliveira. And a throw in for the Royals.
Fry doing the right thing there, taking no chances, just go ahead and knock it up hard up the field, out of bounds. Let your defense reset.
Hornsby, the German defender, 1 goal, 4 assists on the year, added an assist in the victory over Carson Newman on Keegan Burton's goal in the 59th minute, made it a 1-1 game. Queens obviously ending up winning that one, a 3-2 victory in overtime over the Carson Newman Eagles. And a big upset as the 7 seed. And Anderson doing the same with an upset as the 6 seed over the 3rd seed Lenore Rhine Bears. Winning that one 3-2 as well, getting the game winner in the 73rd. So we came into this past week, Craig, with the possibility of having 3 teams that were ranked in the Southeast Region poll here in Rock Hill, and 1 team that had been ranked for most of the year before just falling out in Carson Newman, and we ended up with just 2 of those in the matchup we saw earlier between Wingate and Lincoln Memorial, and then getting the 6-7 matchup here in the 2nd semifinal. And it was back-to-back years that we saw multiple lower seeds advance. And just shows that, 1, the depth of the conference is strong, and 2, that it doesn't matter what happened in the regular season. Any team can figure it out, especially over a 1-game stretch.
Absolutely, and that's the neat thing about the South Atlantic Conference is, you know, even the the lowest or second lowest ranked team still has the ability to stay in matches and make it challenging for a higher seeded team, through the regular season or obviously in the tournament.
The Royals will look for a build-up here in the midfield. Now out wide. And just played back to the keeper, Lemus, right in front of an attacker for the Trojans. Now Hornsby, good touch past Harry Ward, flips it up, finds Carrillo. Carrillo wants Edmundo Robinson, the 12-goal scorer, Robinson. Now slowed down by Harry Ward and has it taken away. Emerson. Good touch, sneaks back inside. Emerson past another defender, and Emerson down to the ground, but no whistle. Hornsby, again, trying to find the feet of Edmundo Robinson, and that one just not on the target. Now here come the Royals again, continuing to push the issue. And a foul called against Anderson will set up a free kick for the Royals as Juan Restrepo, the left back on that side, about to get beat, just pushes his man down, and we'll take another look at it.
Yeah, definitely, as you said, got beat and certainly had to step into the path of the run to slow the play.
Hornsby will take the free kick for the Royals, whips it in. Deflected back just outside the box, fired, deflection, and an own goal starts the scoring off here. The shot fired by Liam Doyle. An Anderson player got a foot on it, and into the back of the net it went.
Yeah, that's one of those, as a goalkeeper, I have no idea if he called leave or I've got it or goalkeeper, but, defender's trying to do the right thing and block the shot. Goalkeeper would have had it covered for sure, but the deflection, good quality rip though, on frame, asked questions of the defense and certainly the goalkeeper, and there's the result.
As we take another look here, right off the deflection, top of the box, Doyle. And that's right off of Harry Ward, the 5'9" freshman from Clarksville, Georgia. Emerson slips down. Doyle takes it away. Now trying to send it back into the middle for Oliveira, and now we'll see if Queens will really try to turn the pressure up as they have the momentum on their side after a quick start here.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Now that you've got the goal, it's early enough in the match. You do need to keep going. It's not like there's 8 minutes to go in the match or anything of that nature. You still got to put the foot on the gas pedal.
And I think while the Anderson defense really thinks about it and tries to figure out what went wrong, that's when you try to continue to apply more pressure. But Anderson will have a chance at it. Lemus answers his second test of the match.
I think Doyle is struggling a little bit for Queens. Pretty sure that's who that was. He was
down on his back in the middle of the field over here, and now the athletic training staff will be called upon.
I noticed earlier near side, or camera side midfield, he was struggling a little bit, got up, was able to, it seemed like, walk it off, but obviously cannot at this point.
It's the right leg that he's having worked on, whether it's the ankle or the shin. Can't exactly tell from here, but
doesn't look comfortable right now, that's for sure.
Coming off a great rip just a moment ago to help put his team on top.
Thing about that shot was just his technique was pure. He didn't try to overhit it, just strike through the ball, put your foot through it, put the laces through it, nice and solid, not try to overhit, and execute it to perfection.
So Doyle will be helped off the field. result will be a goal kick once action returns. You certainly hope that Doyle will be able to walk it off and make his way back into this game, especially with the impact he's made early on and with how early it still is.
I would think they'd make every effort to get him taped up and look at it, evaluate it, make sure he's not going to do any more damage. But I think they would make every attempt to try to get him back on the field the second half.
And a sub will come on for the time being. It's Adam Ward, the 5'7" sophomore from Birmingham, England. Came off the bench in the quarterfinal match, saw just 8 minutes of action, has played in 14, make it now 15 games this season. One of the top options off the Royals bench. Had an assist versus Flagler back on September 9th for his lone point of the year. And we'll see if he can factor into this match at all after the injury to Liam Doyle. Ward will fire away as the throw-in is off Hornsby's head, right on the midfield line. And Vega will get a touch now back to the outside for Calabria. Emerson, one touch. Now working down towards the corner. He gets tripped up and loses it. There'll be a throw-in for Queens, tucked back in their own defensive third. Carrillo does well to work around a defender. Robinson dummies it. Robinson trying to get there and work past the defender, but unable to beat Remy Lesterloo to the ball. After what looked like it could have been a brilliant move to set up an offensive attack.
Lesterloo doing a nice job of just reading that play, providing coverage, and making a fairly simple but important slide tackle.
Hard foul on the far side. Michael James whistled for it. The junior out of Wilmington, North Carolina. And it's a Trojans free kick here with about 27 minutes to play in the first half. Long ball in, top of the box, headed towards Lemus. And one hop, and he scoops it up. And this has been the side that Queens has preferred here, certainly early on, working through Hornsby, the left back. Now Harry Ward back to Vega. And he's got some space to work with after spinning around a defender. Now he finds Ward. Dummied back into open space, Calabria. And now they'll slow things down and settle back in the midfield circle. Now swapping sides here. We'll see if there's a run to be had, but it's not made. As the deflection ends up back with the Trojans. And it'll be an Anderson throw-in. Restrepo throws on for the Trojans. And again, it's deflected away by Queens, and another Anderson throw.
I think one thing Anderson needs to start doing is to kind of change the point of attack a little bit. They're playing very vertically right now. Once the ball's on the left side, it pretty much stays on that side, or vice versa on the right side.
Hard challenge. Vega unable to win it back for the Trojans. And Ward will turn it back inside. Well played by Emerson to get a foot on it. And Ward's going to settle things down and get it back to his freshman keeper. And unable to keep it inside the touchline. We'll give it back to Queens for a throw. Sent back for Lemus, who puts the foot to it and ends that Anderson run rather quickly. Robinson, way right.
You could see Robinson, tongue hang out, eyes wide open. He was dreaming. He was slobbering all over that ball. Wanted to absolutely blast it into the back of the net, but unfortunately didn't utilize some of the technique we saw earlier and let it get away from him. But I like the fact he's looking to be aggressive and shoot from 30 yards out.
Certainly showed that this year. 12 goals on 57 shots. 26 points on the season. Scored 5 goals combined in 2015-2016 and has certainly ramped up his performance and his play in his junior campaign. Had 3 multi-goal games this year, including against Anderson the first time these two teams met. We'll see if the Trojans have a better plan intact for the talented Edmundo Robinson this afternoon. Hornsby into some open space, has a man out on the right wing. He's found him. The Royals looking for another here in the first half. And here comes a cross whipped in and right into the hands of Elyashev. Yeah, stoppage as an Anderson player down on the turf.
Not sure who that is, but obviously a hamstring issue at this point. And I just don't recognize the pink shoes. You know, that's the one telltale giveaway right now. But haven't had it.
Take another look here on the far right. A collision there, and then he finally reaches back and ends up going down to the ground. I believe it's Thomas Jorgström, the freshman from Denmark, and it is. And that would certainly be a huge loss for this team, the leading scorer and an honorable mention selection in the SAC with 5 goals and 5 assists on the year.
Unfortunately, he's definitely walking like he's strained that hamstring, unfortunately.
He'll have a sub come on for him, and it's Oriol Gomez, another freshman for this Anderson team. Played 40 minutes off the bench in the quarterfinal. Has a goal and 2 assists this year. Takeaway by the Royals, now looking for a counterattack. Robinson has a step, trying to keep the ball alive. And it rolls across the goal line, and Elyashev will have it.
Robinson's been a nice handful up top. Sure Queens is enjoying his work rate right now.
Here he comes again. Robinson with the left foot. Handled by Elyashev. The junior just looking to apply as much pressure as possible on this Anderson back four. Able to create himself some space here. Teed it up with the off foot. It struck well, just right at him.
Absolutely, very good effort right at the goalkeeper. Good positioning by the goalkeeper.
Grayson Fry will take the free kick. And it's chipped inside the box, headed back by the Queens defense. And a failed clearance there. But finally able to get rid of it and clear the lines are the Royals. Vega heads it forward. Now it's back to Burris and now Harry Ward. Just past Kala. And here comes Queens. Calabria finds Vega in the midfield. Right back to Calabria. And now it's Restrepo. Now on the attack, here come the Trojans. Knocked out of play for a throw-in, and a sub will come on for Anderson. Turn back inside, trying to find Kala, and it's sent back towards Ward at midfield. Calabria turns back in, finds his man. Ward slips it back inside, but it's knocked away by Oliveira. And Oliveira fouled from behind by Calabria.
Oliveira doing a very nice job of stepping in, breaking up that play, and then driving with the ball forward, causing that foul to occur, trying to create a little bit of a transition offense.
Here you see it again, just coming in late and wrapping that leg around the front of Oliveira. $18:20 to play here, first half, between the 7th-seeded Queens Royals and the 6th-seeded Anderson Trojans. A 1-0 lead for the Royals. Liam Doyle struck it from just outside the box, and it deflected off the leg of Harry Ward into the back of the Anderson net. That was back in the 15th minute. Now Ward gets a takeaway, can't find Emerson. Carrillo, now back to Hornsby. And back into the midfield. Carrillo's got some space, through ball, trying to find the freshman. And it'll just roll across the goal line for a goal kick. Elyashev sends it long for the Trojans. Headed by Calabria. And an Anderson throw. 6 shots for Queens, 3 shots on goal, 2 shots for Anderson, 2 shots on goal, and 4 fouls apiece. And Robinson whistled for the foul, using too much of the hands on the back of Grayson Fry.
Yeah, if his hands weren't up at all, that there's no foul there whatsoever. But anytime those hands are up and on someone's back, the contact looks to be greater than it actually is.
Fry to the edge of the box, headed by the Royals, and flicked on by Calabria before it's taken away by Queens. Now into some open space on the wing. Don't have the numbers, but he does have space. Towards the goal line, and that one sent way high. Keegan Burton just didn't have the angle there for the Royals.
Good run forward, though. Good pace to it. You know, the one thing I think that Anderson's going to need to do is try to keep the ball on the ground a little bit more moving forward. The restarts, some of their even entry passes in have been in the air, causing Queens no issue whatsoever. Queens is absolutely dominating balls in the air. Another example right there.
Into the midfield, Carrillo finds Burton. Now back to the outside. Cross can't get through, and Anderson will look to send it up. Kala for Harry Ward. And Ward has Calabria. Keeps it just inside the goal line. And corner kick, Anderson Trojans. Or just inside, it'll be a throw.
Calabria doing a very good job there, walking the fine line of onside, offside. As soon as the ball was entered in, I looked to see what the assistant referee was doing with the flag, and clearly he was on.
Long throw, looking near post. Header goes back. Lemus goes up and snares it just underneath the crossbar. Calabria getting the head on it. That's the second time today we've seen a header turned away from the net, put right on the money, really. Vega to Kala, now swung back to the wing. And can't chip it forward over the defender. And a foul called on Anderson. Queens leading it by a goal here with under 15 to play first half. The Royals winning their last two games, both by identical 3-2 scores in overtime. First against Lander, and then in the SAC quarterfinals against the 2-seed Carson Newman. Hornsby draws the corner for the Royals.
I like Hornsby's work rate. He's very active. He does a good job of floating around the field, finding the gaps, but certainly when he's on the ball, it feels like something's about to happen in a positive fashion.
Corner kick for the Royals. See if they can come up with anything. Looking near post. Deflected away by Vega. And it'll send it back out to the corner for the Royals. Queens, the 7 seed, finished the regular season with 12 points in league play. We're -3 in conference play goal differential. As they'll look to send in this corner, see if they can create more offense than they did during the season. Now back post. That one sent too long and a foul called in the box on Queens. Emerson a little slow to get up after drawing the foul.
Anderson once again, it looks like choosing to go long. I'd really like to see a player maybe drop out, receive a short pass, try to stretch Queens' defense out a little bit before trying to put an entry ball forward.
Flicked on, but the Queens defense in position. Robinson slipped up, couldn't get possession, but now it's back for the Royals. Turned back towards midfield, now played up. And left off for Oliveira. Now Robinson just a step too late. Here comes Kala the other way for Anderson. And a foul is called on Queens. Lars Kala, the senior from Germany, draws the foul for the Trojans and sets up a free kick.
Something I never thought I'd really say in November, but you wonder is the heat going to be a factor at all in the second half of this, especially playing on the turf, which tends to radiate a little bit more heat. Players aren't necessarily used to it this time of the year, playing with some of the very strong sun that we have today.
And a failed free kick there sent softly in the arms of Sergio Lemus. Temperatures at 78 degrees here in November for kickoff in this game. As we'll have a couple of substitutions coming on before the throw-in. Emerson will head off for Anderson. And John Vaca will come on.
That's trouble.
Kala has Lemus out of the box, deflected off of Lemus and just wide to the left of the post.
A huge save there from Lemus. Not a good ball back whatsoever, but came out, closed down space, made himself big, got a hand out just to poke it wide.
And one-on-one with the senior. Kala with 2 goals and 2 assists on the year, scored the game winner on a PK in the quarterfinal and had a great opportunity there, was just unable to put it away and tie this one up here in the first half. Header goes up, looking towards the far post, and it will roll across the goal line and pointing to the corner. And one more look at the breakaway after a giveaway right to Kala. You see Lemus all the way up at the edge of the box, just deflects off his midsection. Certainly not the biggest guy at 5'9", 160. Got big enough. Back heel, flick back in, looking near post. And Lemus will fall on it. Not enough power on it from Vega to give Lemus too much trouble.
Queens here collectively needs to all take a deep breath and say, okay, we got away with that. No more of that. Anything back has to be a quality ball, or just pump it forward if there's nothing else.
Header popped up. Robinson sends it forward. Nearly kept alive and sent up on the attack for this Royals offense. Dudu Campos up there as well as Robinson. And it will be a throw-in for Queens with 8 minutes to go here in the first half and a 1-goal lead. The way the defense has looked the last few minutes, they'd certainly love another one.
You really put a stamp on the match right before halftime. Equally, the same way for Anderson. They'd love to get this thing tied up going into halftime. Start fresh, start anew in the second 45.
Michael James, clipped to the top of the box, headed back towards Elyashiv. And cleared by Anderson. The deflection back towards Hornsby. And it's taken away by the Trojans. And a foul and a stoppage called. And a booking. Okyar will receive the yellow card, the first of the match. Shinya Nagata on the breakaway there just has his line impeded by Omer Okyar.
As a defender, you always have to debate the card or the foul, but certainly no question at live speed and also obviously on the replay that we just saw.
Another free kick wasted right into the arms of Sergio Lemus, that one from Calabria. Campos settles. He runs into some trouble, but it'll be a throw-in for him on the far sideline. Looking for Robinson, top of the box. Calabria ends up with it. Calabria looking long. A big run here for Anderson. Can they create? Lemus gets a piece of it. And a corner. And a great long ball played there to set up this corner for the Trojans.
The good thing about that ball, it was driven more than floated in. Any of the balls that have been floated in really haven't been very successful, but it was a very well-weighted pass.
Cross comes in, headed back to the middle. The bicycle kick attempt goes high. And Grayson Fry will trot back. It was well done by Colin Burris to dive down and pop that ball up here and put it into a position for Fry to make a play on it. Just caught it too much on the toe.
Yeah, you're spot on with that. Burris did an excellent job of just flicking that ball in. Made something out of nothing.
5:15 to play in the first half of the 6 versus 7 quarter semifinal matchup. Queens leading by a goal. Liam Doyle off the leg of Harry Ward back in the 15th minute. It's a throw in for Anderson off the leg of Alberto Morales, as the Anderson crowd getting into it here and trying to will on this team. Miles Duncan on your screen will enter the game, the sophomore from Evan, Georgia. And a throw in off the chest of Ufing. Now Harry Ward looks up. He gets it back. Ward can't get it past Okyar.
I think that other player checking in for Anderson was Gabriel Homan, number 7 up top.
And Colin Burris will have the throw for Anderson. Team that's already brought 5 players off the bench here in the first half. Long throw. Lemus goes up for it. Ball still loose. Harry Ward gets a piece of it. Shot fired. Lemus. What a play in the middle of the box by Sergio Lemus.
You said earlier 5'9", 160, but he's playing about 6'5", 200 right now. That was absolutely fantastic.
What more can you say about the job that Lemus has done here in the first half? Here comes a chance. Morales in the box, past 2 defenders and finally cleared. Nagata tripped up by Ufing. And a stoppage. Another look at Sergio Lemus. First gets the hands on it, and then here comes the impressive part. Three saves on that play. somehow got a piece of the first one, and that one just gets the chest on it and hops right on top of it. Ward whips in the cross. Lemus, the punch. And Campos will come onto it and draw the foul. With 2:45 remaining here, first half.
Something nice and something that Anderson can build off of. They've had to better play these last probably 7-8 minutes. So, as a coach, you can you build from that. Talk about the good things that you were doing at the end of the half, and hopefully you can start a little quicker maybe in the second half.
Oliveira looks up for Campos, sends it a little bit too far. And now Anderson, with 2:20 to play, will look to counter. And Akyar will boot it. And it's headed back for Ilyashiv. Past the heads of both Okyar and Miles. Duncan and Lemus will let a ride back in the box, kill a little bit of time, and clear out his defenders. Getting ready to boot this one deep. Kill as much time as possible and be happy to go into the locker room with a 1-goal lead. Nagata couldn't find Burris. Now set up for Campos of the Royals. And just played up into open space. Robinson, the lone man up there. Now here comes Campos trying to pressure the back line of Anderson. Chested forward by Oliveira. And Harry Ward sends it over to Burris. 1 minute to play in the first half. 1-goal lead for Queens. Somehow picked out of the air on the left wing.
That was pretty skillful.
And a throw in for Oriol Gomez. Looking up for Miles. Duncan. And that one will roll right over to Sergio Lemus. And Lemus will take his time with 15 seconds remaining. He's done his part here in the first half. 7 saves for the junior from Santiago, Chile. And one last rip here maybe from Campos will send us to halftime in semifinal number 2 here in Manchester Meadows. Queens took the lead in the 15th minute, and they hold on to the end of the first half, leading 1-0.
A good matchup between two teams, obviously similarly ranked, seeded in the event. And Queens took their chance. They had one good chance, they took it. And a little bit of miscommunication in the back on the own goal, but Anderson's had a good response actually since then. It's taken a little while to get going, but certainly they seem to be picking up their level.
That man right there, the reason that Anderson hasn't found the back of the net thus far. Queens leads it by 1 at halftime here on the SAC Digital Network. We'll be back with more second half action. But a nice job by Nagata to clear that corner kick opportunity. Michael James to throw in. Off the chest of Morales. Now it's Keegan Burton looking in for Oliveira. One touch in the box, chipped up. Carrillo wanted it. Now it's Robinson just outside the 18. And Queens will slow it back. Now Hornsby on the left side. Hornsby gets a touch. Robinson shot deflected by Lesterloo and then cleared out of play, and a throw-in for the Royals. Keeping the pressure on Anderson here in the second half, leading by a goal. If you can get the ball on the feet of Edmundo Robinson that close, it's going to work out for you more times than it doesn't.
That Hornsby-Robinson duo, the two of them certainly carry a bulk of the work.
Clearance attempt popped up, still inside the box, now a couple of headers away, and a nice job by Anderson. Still in possession for Queens, but have to work it back up near the 18. Hornsby shielding, and it's cleared across the line, and another throw-in for the Royals. And we'll finally go back the other way for the Trojans. They were able to hold off, for now, that Queens offensive push. Kala just in front of midfield. He comes up limping. And it's turned back inside for Queens. Michael James. Morales looking for the back heel. The combination play wasn't there. Eufing back to Oliveira. Low cross into the box. Morales takes a shot. No, looks over for a teammate. Sent high. Carrillo was there on a great ball from Morales and got underneath it. Over the crossbar it went.
That would have been obviously a very massive insurance goal. Very, very surprised to put it over the bar from that spot.
Good ball initially from James, right onto the feet of Morales. And that ball just stayed too high. A great look, though, for the Queens Royals. Both teams now with 8 shots on the match. 7 on goal from Anderson, 3 on goal from the Royals. And again, a testament to how strong of a first half it was for Sergio Lemus with those 7 saves, at least 4 of which were pretty outstanding.
Early on, man of the match for sure at this moment in time.
Hornsby. Queens building from the back, up for Morales. He's got James on his outside, spins back in. Now it's Oliveira. Oliveira tees one up, but doesn't get much on it, and it's easily saved by Elyashev. Vega bodies it forward, now out to Nagata. Nagata thought he was on the same page with Vega. He went inside, Vega went outside. Long ball, Robinson trying to split a pair of defenders. Robinson clips it up, and what a finish by Edmundo Robinson. Elyashev comes out, and the junior scores his 13th goal of the year in fantastic fashion.
Robinson does a great job as that ball's put in. He takes a quick peek, see what the goalkeeper's doing, recognizing goalkeeper's coming out, and I actually expected him to take a touch, and what a beautiful idea just to finish with the outside of that right foot. Flip it over the top.
A great ball played in. And then take it from here, Craig. What a finish.
Straight pace and a great finish. Quality. Well done.
Just sublime from Edmundo Robinson. And the junior puts his team in fantastic position, leading by a pair of goals with 34:30 to play. Anderson needing to get back to that offensive threat that they had in the first half that forced Lemus to make those outstanding saves. You keep putting that pressure on, you're going to find the net eventually.
Right before that goal, I was just about to say, Anderson just seems a little bit out of sync right now comparing to the first half. A couple balls put in, player making a wide run, but the ball's put in on the inside. So just not quite linking up like they were. Still, plenty of time left. 34 minutes to go in this match. Easy to get 2 goals in that time frame for sure, but the first one needs to come probably in the next 10, 15 minutes.
And again, these two teams meeting earlier this year, it was Queens taking it by this score of 2-0 over the Trojans, yet to score against the Royals so far in 2017, as Burton will have a go at it. But Yashiv able to stand tall this time. Robinson scored in the 26th minute of the first matchup to put him on the board, then added the capper in the 70th. And in that match, Queens outshot Anderson 14-2. Again, that was back on October 18th. That hasn't been the case, as right now Queens is out shooting Anderson 11-8, certainly a much closer number, and already 6 more shots than the Trojans were able to find against the Royals in their first matchup. But right now, in terms of result, going in a similar direction.
This could be troubling for Queens. Got Robinson down very high out behind the play.
And certainly for the Royals, the last guy they want to see down on the turf in Robinson.
And I'm at a loss to how he actually got hurt. And not that it was behind the play or anything like that off the ball. But he must have picked up a knock during the run of play and just realized that he might not be able to play through it.
Working on the ankle and the foot there for Edmundo Robinson. And he's helped off. It would be an absolutely massive loss for this Queens team.
He's going off at a pretty good clip. I do think he'll actually be okay.
Robinson will go off towards the bench. And Adam Ward will come back in for the Royals. Header pops straight up. Burris gets ahead on it. And now another player down. This time it looks like it's Eufing. And Eufing, the 6'2" German, will finally sit up, and this athletic training staff will come back out onto the field to check on him. And now Eufing will be helped to the sideline as well.
Yeah, I think he's just going to step off briefly and then back into the fourth official to let him back on, get the attention of the middle official.
Sylvain will throw in, and Burton will end up with it for Queens. And certainly the Royals in no hurry to press on forward with the attack, and Lemus will just send it across midfield. You know, with both of these teams, the way things were in the past as the 6 and the 7 seed in this conference tournament, even if you win the championship on Sunday, your season's normally still coming to an end. But now with the rule changes, the automatic qualifier, there's a lot riding on the result of this tournament. If either Queens or Anderson, whichever team ends up moving on to Sunday, is able to knock off the Bulldogs, they're into the NCAA tournament. And just like that, there's another team that thinks they're a deserving team, that there's another spot less for them to be able to fill as an AQ.
Absolutely, and teams obviously in the South Atlantic Conference are thinking that, but even obviously outside within the region itself, everybody's watching everybody else's scores to either they're in or they're out based on one roll of a ball.
And certainly a team that we saw earlier today in Lincoln Memorial, currently the number 6 team in the region rankings, unable to get the result they were looking for against Wingate earlier today. An automatic qualifier would certainly devastate their hopes and their chances here as we get towards the end of this weekend and figure out next week what is going to be the 6 teams moving on.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches and athletic staff out there doing lots of calculations and trying to figure out what-if scenarios right now.
Anderson trying to jumpstart their attack here with 30-plus minutes left to play. And it's been stagnant here through 15 in the second half. 0 shots as Kala has it to his feet. Now Nagata will turn it back towards the goal line. Here comes the cross. It skips through, and Hornsby will send it to touch again, and another throw-in for Anderson, now starting to apply a little bit of pressure. Cross deflected and comes down to Keegan Burton. He wants it long. Adam Ward chasing Elyashiv, able to clear it. A good read by the freshman keeper. All 5 games so far in this SAC tournament, the winner has scored 3 goals. Certainly a trend has started here in conference tournament play. Could this be number 3 for the Royals? And what a defensive effort by Anderson there.
You would have been Nostradamus had you had called that 3rd goal right then.
The back heel started it. Carrillo was able to settle, and then Ward nearly snuck that one in. But still in danger here. The corner comes in. Back post. Still loose in the box. Now coming up towards the top of it. Headed back in. And offside is the call. I think there was about 3 players for Queens offside there.
That's one area that I sort of disagree with from a standpoint of player safety, because sometimes you'll see a ball put in and a goalkeeper charging out. The player's clearly offsides, and the officials are taught to raise the flag once the man is involved in play. Sometimes you have collisions for no reason, and I've always struggled with that since that rule has been emphasized a little bit more.
Headed forward looking for Kala, but Queens and Okyar are able to play it back towards Lemus. Lemus has not had much to deal with here in the second half. 7 shots on goal for Anderson, all 7 coming in the first half, all 7 saved by the junior from Santiago. "28 saves on the season coming into today. Give him 35 now with his 7 goals allowed in his 9th start of the season. Lobbed forward, Emerson overran it. Able to keep it on his feet momentarily, but he'll be whistled for a foul, and Queens will regain possession. Give me coaches in like any sort of stoppage, just quick. You can just do them back to back because I'm just going to say how they were both former assistants of at their schools. Good job, Sid. Foul in the midfield. This time it's called on the Royals, and it'll go back with Anderson. Oliver Correas, 7th-year man for the Queens Royals. 56, 60, and 7 overall in his career. A former Queens assistant. Able to take over the head job and trying to get his team back to a SAC title match here. And they're in good shape at the moment. 26 minutes to play and a 2-goal lead. Both coaches in this matchup, former assistants at their schools and then taking over the head job. Michael Zion on the other side for Anderson in his 4th year with the program, 32, 30, and 6 in his career as the head coach for the Trojans.
Yeah, Anderson's got to figure out a way to kind of change the rhythm of this game right now. Some of these restarts, I'd almost like to see him put the ball down and just put a quick foot on it, catch Queens in transition a little bit.
Oban being held on the outside, and then the whistle finally blown. And a clock stoppage comes in late here by Schmidt. He's going to bring Oban in as well as Adam Ward. And just has him kind of wrapped around the neck there a little bit. It was that at the end there I think he wanted to talk to him about. Just a little late chirping. Header into the box. Lemus has it covered. But what a response it would be for this Queens team after last year, missing the SAC tournament at 3-7-1 after a loss to Brevard in the final match of the regular season, to bounce back, earn the 7 seed, get the upset over Carson Newman in that 3-2 overtime match earlier this week, and then come here and knock down Anderson to head into a SAC championship match against the Wingate Bulldogs would be, quite the year, even though maybe it wasn't record-wise what they were hoping for, but to, at the end of the day, say, hey, we at the very least made it to the SAC championship and certainly have a chance to win it on Sunday would be quite a turnaround after a tough year in 2016.
And that's the trick, as a coach or within the program as a player, you find the small victories and things. And even though maybe the season didn't go as well last year as they wanted, or maybe even this year as they wanted, to get to the finals is a nice check mark. To win the finals and get into the NCAAs, that's a big check plus, and you can build from that.
Started the scoring back in the 15th with Liam Doyle. Then Edmundo Robinson added one in the 56th here. And Anderson just hasn't had an answer in the second half offensively. Queens hoping for their second championship appearance in the last 3 years. You go back to 2015. In the semifinal, they played to a 3-3 tie with Carson Newman before taking that one in penalty kicks. And that was one that they led 3-0 after 20 minutes and almost gave it all back. Carson Newman tied it at 3 in the 78th. And luckily for the Royals, they were able to hold that tie and win the game in penalty kicks before going on to lose to Wingate in the 2015 SAC title match. Leading it by 2 goals here. They're certainly hoping they don't give up another 2-goal lead and make it any more difficult than it needs to be on themselves.
You know, that would surprise me at this stage because Queens looks very confident, very composed. They're all generally on the same page of what they're trying to do. It seems that they can see this game out. That being said, there are 22 and a half minutes left.
And I think after the first half, even with the 1-goal lead, you could kind of look at it and say, you know what, Anderson is potentially controlling this game because of that, stretch they had at the end, forcing Lemus to be so effective in net. But once the second half started, that just wasn't there and hasn't been there so far for Anderson, and Queens has really kind of taken that and ran.
I definitely am surprised by that as we were going into halftime. That's what I mentioned. I thought Anderson would be on the front foot, but credit to Queens. They've put their stamp on the match. And Lemus is probably back here thinking, gosh, this feels so nice not to have to do anything right now as well.
And especially after the work he was forced into, making a couple of saves, 15 yards out of his net. We'll get things resettled here, and it'll be a throw-in deep in the corner for the Royals. Burton will get the first touch on it, and it's off the legs of Kala, and it'll stay with Queens here in the attacking third. Ward has 2 defenders converge on him, Nagata and Ward trying to earn the corner, and he does. Nicely done by the sophomore Adam Ward.
Yeah, a very smart play there. Sometimes you'll see players think, oh, I've got to get this ball into the box, get it into the box. But if he doesn't get a good ball into the box, now you're exposing yourself to the counter. So keep it in the corner, play it off the defender, and just keep it tight, keep it concise right now.
And before we cut away, you saw that slow jog by Hornsby to the corner, trying to milk every second possible with this 2-goal lead, in absolutely no hurry to whip this corner in. Back post, and Elyashev got a piece of it.
Very nicely. Good, strong left-handed punch.
Anderson will try to turn it upfield from here. Header won by the Royals. And skied out of bounds, and back to Queens it will go. And in this matchup between these two teams, this has kind of been how it's always gone for Anderson. You look in the all-time between these two teams. Just 1 win in Anderson's history against Queens, 117-3 overall. The lone win coming back in 2009. So if there's been one team that you look at and say Anderson has really had trouble with, it's been this team out of anybody in the SAC. For whatever reason that may be from year to year.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, the teams change every 4 years or every 2 years, depends on what your cycle of players are, but some programs, just for whatever reason, don't match up well with other programs, and it starts to get in your head a little bit too. Even though it shouldn't be the case from 1 year to the next, it does get in your head.
And even before they were members of the SAC, these teams did battle in Conference Carolinas as well, so very familiar, obviously, with 21 all-time meetings. Have played a bunch over the years, and it just, for whatever reason, has been all Queens in this matchup historically. And Elyashev does a nice job once more on the corner. Burton flicked out wide. No control there by the Royals, and Anderson, with less than 20 to play, will try to get on the attack. Nagata. And now up for Kala. Now Nagata, back over to Kala. Rips one, deflected by Akyar. And Oliveira will clear for the Royals. A throw-in coming for Anderson, but finally some life shown by the Trojan offense.
And the nice thing about that play, actually the player that's going to be sub for right now, Peterson, does a nice simple ball just to change the point of attack from the center circle basically to this left flank. And that we just saw as a result of just a simple 20, 30-yard ball.
And Timo Herman will come on for the Trojans. He will replace Peterson, but they are unable to find anything there as Keegan Burton will look upfield for Adam Ward. And Herman will be the first one back as it crosses the goal line, and Elyashiv will have a goal kick. (12-9) currently the shot advantage for Queens. 7-7 apiece in shots on goal. Calabria flicked forward. Harry Ward on the run. And Harry Ward will earn a corner for the Anderson Trojans.
The Queens fans out there will be happy to see it looks like Robinson's going to be checking back into the game, so he's recovered from that little knock that he took earlier on.
20 fouls called in this game. This, the 11th corner of the match, the 4th for Anderson. As Ward sends it near post, headed by Alkyar. And Emerson tried to tee that one up and rip it on the volley. Was unable to make contact. Throw in for Queens. And that'll bring Edmundo Robinson back into the ball game. Robinson in the 56th minute, putting Queens up by a pair with his 13th goal of the year. And third goal against the Trojans here in 2017. This match also certainly not nearly as chippy or physical as the first match of the day between Wingate and Lincoln Memorial. That one saw 7 yellow cards. We've seen just one handed out to Omar Akyar. That was early on in the first half. Queens on the attack, scooped back into the box, chipped forward, and Anderson's able to clear. And a foul from behind, and a stoppage as well.
You're doing a very nice job of predicting what is about to happen next when you make a comment. Instantly the yellow comes, and rightfully so. Hornsby did very well to shield the ball, turn the corner, and then was brought down as he turned the corner.
And Calabria initially pulling on the arm and then just sticking the foot out. And from the replay, a seemingly easy call.
Yeah, I think, if he tried to grab him and missed him, I think that maybe is not a yellow card, but certainly when you flick the leg out and clip him from behind, there's absolutely no question.
Free kick sent into the box, so Yashiv will look to get rid of it quickly. Time ticking down as he tries to play the ball long and jumpstart his offense. And the Anderson offense continues to not be on the same page here in the second half.
Yeah, you notice there the ball goes up for the header and no one's running beyond it for the flick-ons. Actually happened twice there, back-to-back headers. Got to start taking chances forward, playing the miss. You teach strikers as they're young to play the miss, assume the defender's going to slip or the ball's going to come off his foot a different way.
75 gone, 15 remaining here in semifinal number 2 in Manchester Meadows. It's the 7-seed Queens leading it by 2 over the 6-seed Anderson. Winner plays Wingate on Sunday in the championship match. Men's championship coming at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Again, the winner plays Wingate at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Queens leading it by 2 with 14 minutes remaining. Morales back to the inside, sees an opening. Morales just to the right of the post.
Yeah, I believe that ball hit the wheel support that's just on the outside of the post. Great effort and also very good unselfish running from Robinson to create that space.
This game 2 of the men's semifinals. Game 1 on the women's side and game number 3 overall coming up next. About 45 minutes following the result of this one here. Carson Newman, the 1 seed, and still yet to lose a game here in 2017. They'll take on the 4 seed in Tusculum. So when this game concludes, the next game will start about 15 minutes following the end of this one. Each team will get to their benches, and once they're set up, there will be 10 minutes put on the clock. So be sure to stick with us throughout the day here on the SAC Digital Network. This game 2 of 4, the men's semifinals, and Queens on the run here, trying to put their 3rd goal in the back of the net, and Elyashev reaches out to make a save. And now we're starting to see what we saw at the end of the Wingate LMU game. Once you have to press up more, that counter is open, and we saw it again there for Queens, just unable to beat the freshman keeper.
Yeah, Anderson obviously putting a couple numbers forward, but as I was just quickly counting there, still 6 players almost 50, 60 yards behind play. They've got to take chances, take risk, get one of these goals back.
It was the own goal back in the 15th minute to get this thing underway. A great strike from Liam Doyle was on line. Elyashev seemed to be in position, just took a turn off of Harry Ward's leg and put Queens up by 1. Anderson really was the stronger side the rest of that first half. Put 7 shots on target. Lemus made all 7 saves as Robinson, who put the Royals up 2-0, nearly had another go at it. Robinson's goal came in the 56th minute. He did go off for about 20 minutes with an injury, but Robinson seems to be ready to go, and we saw him flash that speed there. So for what was a lower body injury, in the ankle area, that speed's still there for the junior.
It is absolutely still there, and a little unfortunate for him because that last sequence, we maybe tried to do a little bit too much. Once he got in behind, take a touch, and just go ahead and rip a ball near post. See what happens. Maybe you catch the keeper.
Another corner for the Royals, and they've spent plenty of time in the corner here this afternoon. This will be their 8th, as it's cleared once more by the Trojans just outside the box. And now Queens will be happy to take it back into the corner and kill some more time. And that's exactly what they'll do, as Hornsby will have to come all the way from the other side to take the corner on the opposite end, as we've gone under 10 minutes to play. And Queens set up again here on the offensive end. Another shot ripped. And again, it goes just wide past Elyashiv, and Queens really just a strange year for them overall. At 8-5-4, they started the year with a win over Clayton State. They took Limestone, a team in the Southeast region, top 8, the number 1 seed currently, into double overtime. That a 1-1 tie, so you start that year off, and after that match, you're thinking this could be a big year, getting healthy after a lot of injuries a year ago. They drop one against North Georgia, a 1-0 loss before beating up on Flagler 4-1. And then they get two of the better teams in the conference in Wingate and LMU, and they lose to Wingate 4-1 before tying Lincoln Memorial. And then that's when things, started to take a little bit of a tumble for Queens. Dropped one to Carson Newman, tied Lenore Ryan and Catawba, lost to Mars Hill. And then they ended a little bit stronger, winning 3 out of 4. But that last loss in there was one that you really scratched your head at home on senior night, dropping a 2-1 game to Coker. So just so much up and down, the peaks and valleys for this Queens team this season. You look and they have some good performances, tying some good teams. They don't have any really great wins. You have the tie against Limestone. You have the tie against Lenore Rhine. Two of the better teams in the conference and in the region, but just didn't have that one win that you could really hang your hat on. As a couple of Anderson players colliding there in the midfield with 8 minutes remaining. But again, none of that resume matters. If Queens wins the tournament, they're in.
That's right. That's the beauty of it.
You look at it just strictly, from the win standpoint, and their best one is the win over Carson Newman, a team that's been really struggling lately, or struggled to end the year, I should say. Cross played in front of Lemus, and it's deflected across the line for an Anderson corner.
There's a good chance here for Anderson. Go ahead and just about send everybody. I would even maybe think about pulling the goalkeeper up a little bit higher and just flood the box. Make sure something's good in front of the goal as far as the quality of ball put in. Maybe get a good bounce or a nice free header.
Foul called in the box, and it's called against the Trojans. And I did miss one here. I will say Queens's best win of the season came in their final regular season game, a 3-2 overtime win over Lander, a team currently ranked in the top 8 in the Southeast region as well. And by the looks of it, right now, Queens on the fast track to their second appearance in the championship match in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think the wheels would really have to come off for them not to be advancing into Sunday's match at 1.
A team that at one point in the year, many expected to be here, the Carson Newman team that this Royals side beat 3-2 in that overtime match in the quarterfinals. A team that started 9-1-1 and finished 0-6-1. The wheels really fell off for a team at one point didn't allow a goal in, I believe, 6 straight matches. And then you lose to Young Harris, then Wingate puts 7 on him, and the wheels really fell off from there.
That's the game that was really shocking to me was the 7-0 loss to Wingate.
And so that's
7-1. Apologies. Yes.
That being the team that this Queens team beat to get here. And with the win over Carson Newman and potentially a win here over Anderson, Queens will be up for another conference tournament championship here, as they'll look to add another goal already leading by 2, and a corner kick for the Royals with 5 on the dot to play. And again, the first 5 matches of this conference tournament, the winner finishing with 3 goals. Queens trying to keep that streak alive as they lead it by a pair.
That, unfortunately, for Anderson, might be the remaining question of the match, because it doesn't look like Anderson's going to be able to get something here, unfortunately for them, but can Queens get that magic 3rd goal?
Nearly got it there, headed towards the back post.
Pretty free header. They're actually trying their best to maybe give that 3rd goal. It seems like it. No way an attacking player should be that open near post.
It was Alberto Morales who got the head on it. Time winding down here in semifinal number 2. Winner gets a date with Wingate at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Anderson still trying to keep the dream alive here. And that one sails over the crossbar. And really, that might have been the best chance we've seen here in the second half.
Generally, you need to create 8 to 10 scoring chances to get a goal, so the odds aren't in Anderson's favor at this point, but certainly a good effort. It's worth a go. Doesn't seem to be troubled by it at all in the net, but it is worth the chance.
Just over 3 minutes remaining here. And the last-ditch effort for Anderson. Header in the box. Lemus will dive on it. It'll be an Anderson throw as more time will continue to tick down. And Anderson will get a sub on here and try and provide some sort of spark. It's Landon Goodman who will come on. And now 20 players have seen the field for Anderson in this match. So no matter what they've tried, no matter what bodies they've put out there switching in different positions, just haven't been able to solve the riddle here in the second half of this Queens defense. The chances were certainly there in the first half. There's no doubt about that. But it was all Sergio Lemus, the Royals keeper, with 7 saves on 7 shots on goal. And a throw in with under 2 to play.
I think you hit it right on the head, Coach Zion over there playing the 20 players. He's pushing the buttons, he's pulling the strings, he's trying to do everything he knows to get his team going here in the second half, but it's just not clicking.
Headed back into the box. Still kept alive. And turned back to the outside for Vega. Now played back. And a foul called. Johnny Landis will draw a free kick for Anderson here with 1:15 remaining. Trailing by a pair. It was Doyle and Robinson, 15th minute and 56th.
Just over a minute to go. Certainly not much of a hurry to get this going. I would have been tempted to put the ball down quickly and just restart it and not have to wait for the wall on everything else.
And the cross whipped in, and it'll be headed towards the corner. Sergio Lemus looking on here in the final minute. Last couple of efforts here by Anderson. The header goes wide of the right post. It was Landis again. And with 25 seconds remaining, the clapping here in the stands, the applause being given as this one will come to its end. A 2-0 victory for the Queens Royals. The 7 seed will advance to face the 1st seed, Wingate Bulldogs, on Sunday in the championship. The rematch of the 2015 SAC title is on Sunday at 1 p.m. It's the Royals and the Bulldogs who will be heading to the South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship match.
In the upset end of the bracket, finally the higher seed did prevail in that one, and well deserved. I mean, two equally talented teams, but on the day, certainly well deserved by Queens.
The Royals win their 9th match of the season to improve to 9-5-4. Anderson drops to 9-8-1, and their season will come to a close here this afternoon in Rock Hill. The Queens Royals take it by a final score of 2-0 over the Anderson Trojans, and they will move on to Sunday. A look at the bracket. There it is, 1 versus 7. Wingate yet to allow a goal here in the tournament. Queens, a strong performance here this afternoon against the Trojans. They'll go to battle at 1 p.m. on Sunday as Queens takes down the 6th-seeded Anderson Trojans. It's Doyle and Robinson that do the scoring for Queens as they head to the championship match with a 2-0 victory over the Anderson Trojans. We'll step away here on the SAC Digital Network. Women's semifinals coming up next.